A change of direction in sports can come in many different ways, but a plant and cut change of direction is one of the more common ways that athletes will change movements and change directions. When this happens, you want to try to teach athletes the optimal way to do it, knowing that it's not always going to happen this way. So, for example, if I'm running forward and I'm going to turn to my left, as I'm coming forward, you first want to start to decelerate. Your inside foot, I'm going to call this my inside foot and this my outside foot because I'm going to be turning and going this way. So my inside foot is going to help me decelerate. My outside foot is going to create an angle into the ground outside of my center of gravity. So you can see it's almost like the inverted funnel principle, where my body kind of looks like a funnel upside down, the skinny part on top, and then I should be able to move my feet wide on the outside. This is almost analogous to a plyo step. When you're talking about starting from like a staggered step and you're going to take a step backwards or a false step, it's very similar to that in the sense that what you're trying to do is create an angle into the ground so that you can push off and go in another direction. So you've got your deceleration, you've got the plant with the outside foot, and the next step that you take with the inside foot is critical to the direction that you're trying to go. You want to make sure that this step goes exactly in the direction that you're trying to go. So what I mean by that is you'll see a lot of athletes who will come up and instead of making a 90-degree change of direction, they will plant and their next step is forward. And then they have to create a rounded pattern to get where they want to go. If you're a defender and I'm coming up and I'm doing a rounded pattern, it's certainly a lot easier to stick with me than if I come up and I change on a 90-degree angle. Now your momentum is carrying you backwards and it's much more difficult to chase me. I'm going to be able to create some separation. So some simple drills to do are just to pick a spot in front of you or in front of the athlete, have the athlete run up to a line, practice planting and stepping in the new direction. Then they should always go to the opposite direction. You can practice on 45-degree angles, and you can also practice on angles backwards, like a 135-degree angle. Once they get good at this kind of movement, you're going to want to start to introduce some reaction-type drills to it. So you could have a coach standing in front here, and as I come up, the coach points one direction or the other. So I have to decelerate, look at what the coach is doing. If the coach points this way, I have to plant my foot in the opposite direction to go this way. You can also start to do it from a more sport-specific kind of a reaction or recognition type of movement. So if I had an athlete coming at me, I'm the coach. If I'm a football player and I'm the offensive player and I'm coaching a defensive player, I may come up with a football in my hand and I might take a step in one direction. This athlete coming at me now has to react to my body movement and go this way. It could be almost the opposite for an offensive player. So if I have a running back or a wide receiver coming at me with a football, so pretend like you're coming at me, I'm the coach, but I'm the defensive player. I may come up and take a step in one direction. That means that the offensive player has to react to that and go in the opposite direction. So you start to react to another person's body. Sometimes hand movements are good, sometimes simple pointing, or you can hold up things, and then actually doing a movement is probably the best way to turn this into real sport-specific type of reaction drills.